Welcome back. Well, we have an interesting project for Sunday, and I did get requests for it, but I have to say, I had planned to do it even before I got the requests. Because I had all of my china out to repack it, I brought my silver out too, and just showed how to lay all this out. A full formal dinner can be daunting. And when you look at china service or silver service, all of the various pieces, especially if your china or silver service are older, there are going to be things that, we've never heard of, we've never used them. So might as well figure out what they are, how to use them, especially if you've got them already. So when we come back. To start off, to begin with, by apologizing for things like the lighting, the noise. The lighting, by the way, is not great in the first two film clips, but it gets better. What's going on is while I was filming this, I had 3 construction workers in the schoolhouse. We are expecting a storm in a few days. It's going to be bad. And of course, the construction people want to get certain parts of their job done now before the storm comes. So they're going to be working all weekend. And that was something I had not counted on. So in addition to interfering with the light, and because they needed all of the electricity, I couldn't even bring artificial light in. So we've got issues with the light. My apologies for that. As I said, the first 2 clips are not well lit, but it gets better. And there is banging. I hope to be able to edit out some of the unnecessary swearing. And there are some interruptions from time to time in there. But bear with me. We were doing a difficult job under taxing circumstances, both me and the construction workers. So let me preface all of this by saying that no matter what you may believe, there are no hard and fast rules. The whole concept of the right way to lay out china and silver is just a conceit. The fact is, you need to have the appropriate pieces for the food you're going to serve. So remember, your menu is going to dictate everything. And you're going to want to lay it out in a reasonably logical way so that people are not, eating their mashed potatoes with their coffee spoon, and then when the coffee comes, they got nothing but 4 forks on the table to stir in the sugar. That's just common sense, and it's just a question of being considerate to your guests. In general, and in terms of laying out your silver, there are 2 schools of thought. One is you lay it out by height so that it all looks pretty and it tapers down, smallest piece at the far end, largest piece next to the plate. It's not the way I do it, but it's a legitimate way to do it. I do it by use. The first used pieces will be on the outside, so the first spoon you use will be the last spoon moving away from the plate. The first fork you use, same thing, last one moving away from the plate. So I just find that makes it infinitely easier for people. Nobody has to poke through and say, well, which one is my fish fork? And, and I see no reason to make life more difficult on your guests than you're already making it by putting out twice as much flatware as they are used to seeing. Same thing with the plates. It should be logical and properly arranged so that everybody knows the difference between their dessert plate and their bread and butter plate, for example. Yes, you can come up if you'd like. All right, yes, I thought so. Audie was not included in the filming, and I don't think he really liked it very much because he's just looking for love. All right, so let's start with the first two clips. And as I say, the lighting is not good here, but it does get better. Let's start with an overview. These are jelly servers. There are two different sizes. I'm sure one is for jelly and one is for some other jelly-like substance, but jelly servers. This is a large cold meat fork. This is a berry spoon. Notice the profile. These are large serving spoons. This is a tablespoon, a serving spoon. This is a large, I think it may be an olive fork. It seems a little large for an olive fork, but it is a serving fork that is pronged so you can stab things. And finally, this is the carving set. And in this particular pattern, this is a small carving set. So there is a larger one. Let's go over here. These are our cream soup spoons. These are our cocktail forks. Notice it's a small version of that other stabby fork. Dessert forks. Fish forks, small fish forks. This pattern also has large fish forks. Salad forks. Dinner forks, which are also called place forks. And these are small place forks. This set has much larger ones too. This is our table knife. Butter knife, hollow handled. Go up here. Teaspoons. These are teaspoons, coffee spoons, 5 o'clock teaspoons. No idea what the difference is there other than size. Egg spoons. This is the sugar spoon. This is the tomato server. More knives, butter knives. This is a flat-handled butter knife. I only have one of those. I haven't made up my mind if I want to get more. And over here, we have our gravy ladle, a bonbon spoon, that's an olive spoon, which needs polishing. These are our sauce ladles. There is a mayonnaise ladle, which is smaller, and I don't know where that is right now. This is a small cold meat fork. Notice the difference in size. This is a bouillon spoon. I only have one of those, I'm not sure why. And these are bonbon spoons. Sugar tongs. Note the hairy little feet. And these are probably ice tongs. This particular pattern has about 4 different kinds of tongs. Now, once we decide what we are going to serve, we start pulling out the individual pieces we need. For starters, we are going to need a knife. We are going to need a place fork. We are going to need a salad fork. We are going to need a coffee spoon. We're going to need, over here, a butter knife. And that tends to be our basic service. So, let's add soup let's add a cocktail. We'll add a fish course. We are going to add a dessert with a fork. We are going to grab a couple more spoons. Oh, and in case the Queen comes and brings Prince Charles with her, we need an egg spoon, because apparently Prince Charles will not eat with you if you do not give him soft-boiled eggs. So, that is basically the stuff we are going to set our table with. The rest of these are all service pieces, and the use of these pieces will depend on what kinds of dishes we are going to serve. So that was an overview of the silver. Then we move on to the china, the charger plate, the pieces that stay on the table, the charger plate, the bread and butter plate, the dessert plate, assuming that you are going to serve the dessert in another container that will sit on the plate. By the way, that in general is the rule. If you have a plate that stays on the table, it's because another plate, dish, glass, cup, whatever, is going to go on top of it. The exception is the bread and butter plate, and that stays on the table. That's there from the beginning, and it's moved away at the end of the meal, because some people will want their bread from the beginning to the end. They're just going to want to nibble on bread. And of course, when you're entertaining, you want to make your guests happy, and if they are bread nibblers, you let them have it. If it's Prince Charles and he wants that soft-boiled egg, what can I say? I got 18 egg cups out there just waiting for him. So let's take a look at the china. Okay, now we're going to start setting the table. And this is our charger plate. So the charger plate goes down first. The purpose of the charger plate, and you don't put any food directly on this, is just to maintain the place setting so that people are not staring down at a blank tablecloth. Also, back in the days when the idea of washing a massive white linen tablecloth was just daunting compared to washing a charger plate, it was probably a good idea to have a plate in order to catch crumbs and dribbles. So we've got our charger plate, and that maintains our place setting. And now we are going to deal with our silverware. So, knife. The knife goes on the right-hand side, blade toward the plate. That is the first piece that goes on the right. Now we go over to the left. There are two ways to set out flatware, and you can either set it out according to height, so with the tallest piece closest to the plate, and then the other pieces in descending order like this, or you can do it according to the order in which the meal is served. Now, I like the order in which the meal is served because it makes things easier for the people eating at the table. So, let's get our spoons out. And these are all our little teaspoons, and yes. All right, there are teaspoons.
I'm going to leave that cord plugged in.
Sure.
Now, if you want the light on, you just pull on that chain.
Okay.
I pulled the chain so the light wouldn't run at the same time.
Okay.
That way you don't burn all that electric. I mean, it probably don't burn that much. But...
Okay, so I'm going to set those aside for the moment. Next up is our napkin. We're going to put the napkin on our charger plate because when someone sits down at the table, the first thing they do is they will pull the napkin out of the napkin ring. In this case, it's a little decorative tassel. My, how cute. It doesn't matter how you set your napkin. You can set it here at a jaunty little angle. Who cares? Let's straighten out our tassel. Make sure it looks halfway decent. All right. So, that's our opening. Now, let's get our bread and butter plate. We've got our bread and butter plate over here above our forks. And there is our butter knife on our bread and butter plate. And it really doesn't matter where you put it on the plate. I prefer to put it at the top edge, blade in, because it's just intuitive for people to pick up a knife this way. And here we go. Dessert fork. And the dessert fork points to the right as if we just slid it out, brought it over here. And our dessert spoon, which does the same thing in reverse. And we'll have our little dessert plate here. You may or may not put the dessert plate out at this time. It all depends. If the dessert plate is going to hold something else, and in my case, my dessert plate is going to hold a lovely little sherbet cup, which will get scooted out at a later date. The plate can stay here. If it were going to hold like a slice of cake, for example, that was going to be served directly on the plate, I might leave the plate elsewhere and bring it out later with the cake on it. All right, next up, these are placeholder glasses because we are not really dealing with glasses right now. I just grabbed 3 different kinds of glasses to make it very clear that we will have a water glass, we will have a white wine, we will have a red wine, we might even have a cordial glass in there. So, somebody comes to dinner and we're all set up. They're going to take the napkin off the charger plate, so we get that out of the way. That's there until somebody sticks it in their lap. And now we're going to begin dealing with our courses. So we'll pick up in a minute. All right, now our first course is a lovely soup. That's why we have these wonderful little cream soup bowls. And here is our cream soup spoon. Now, I know I said we were going to work our way in, but the egg spoon is for Prince Charles. This is special. Ordinarily, this would be on the table like this because you don't serve soup at breakfast. And for the rest of us, we don't eat soft-boiled eggs at dinner. So, just keep in mind Prince Charles. Now, we've got our cream soup, and we would start our dinner with this, with our cream soup spoon. So, what are we going to do after the soup? I thought maybe we would do perhaps a little cocktail. All right, so when the soup is gone, we're going to bring out another saucer. And I'm not going to go get another saucer. As you know, I've got enough saucers to last a lifetime. So we'll bring out another saucer, and it will have our little cocktail glass on it. And my little cocktail glasses are packed away with the glassware. So I'm just going to shove this little glass here as a placeholder. And then we go over to our cocktail fork for our cocktail. Now, keep in mind, when the soup bowl is cleared away, so is the soup spoon. when our cocktail is cleared away, so is our cocktail fork. So next up is our salad course. And here is our little salad plate. And here's our salad fork. All right, now, a salad doesn't have to be a salad. Your salad can be almost anything, as long as it's sort of green. I've done all kinds of stuff. I have done sliced avocado with pomegranate seeds on it. By the way, if you do that, make sure you coat it in whatever dressing you're using, because uncoated avocado turns black in like 3 minutes. So, we will pretend that we have either a green salad, it can be a bean salad, it can be anything, any sort of separate vegetable dish, but ordinarily we are talking about something fancier than just peas. So, our salad plate, we eat our salad, the salad plate goes away along with the fork. And as you can see, we are getting whittled down a little more. At this point, we are probably talking about our main course, or if you're serving a fish course, this is where our fish course will come in. I don't think very many of us are serving that many courses, so we're just going to acknowledge the fish course, but move to our main course. That's where our dinner plate comes in, and we no longer have people to serve. At least I don't. I do not have people to serve dinner. So when I lay things out, everything is laid out either on a sideboard or the table, and people just help themselves. Hence all those serving pieces. So at this point, we're breaking out our dinner fork and our knife. When we're through with this, it's all going to go away, including the flatware. Now, you probably noticed that the glassware I put out was not matched and wasn't even really, like elegant glass. Well, one of them was nice, but the other two were just, I put the glassware out just so you could see where the glasses go in the place setting. I think glassware is probably its own separate video, so consider that placeholders. Some of the things that people do, or don't do, as the case may be, is put the dessert silver and the dessert plate above the charger plate. That's what I like to do. Why? Because I have pretty dessert plates. Hey. Other times people have totally different desserts in mind where that just might not be what they do. For me, my idea of a dessert is something I can slop into a little sherbet cup, stick on a plate, and just, here you go, eat that. Other people do this very differently, and I also have to say, Audie's banging into the camera now. I also have to say that's not something I do for like Thanksgiving, where you traditionally serve pumpkin pie. But as I'd said before, the menu dictates the service. I have, over the years, come up with a number of quick and easy recipes so that I am not spending the day in the kitchen. I can probably put together a formal dinner, like start to finish, in an hour. And that's it. That's everything. And that will include, the soup and the salad and the main course, and even, like a fish course and the desserts, an hour. Because I do not really like to cook. I can do it, but it's not like, oh, gee, I can't wait till I get in that hot kitchen again. No, no. So everybody has their own thing. Some people do like to cook. For some people, spending all day in the kitchen, that's their idea of heaven. And, bless them for that. But me, no, no. When I entertain, like a formal dinner, I am doing it to show off my china and my silver. It's really the truth. I know that's an embarrassing thing to admit. It makes me sound so superficial, but it's true. It's my excuse to pull out some pretty things that I've acquired over the years that I want to share with my friends. So that's what it's all about for me. I would rather spend time with my friends than spend time in the kitchen and leave them to their own devices out in the dining room. All right, so let's just take a look at the final bit, which is the dessert and, clearing things away. I think that's what's on this. And then when we come back, we'll just wrap up. So now that that's all gone, our dinner stuff is all gone, we will not have that little fork there, by the way, because the fish will have been gone, but we will have our spoon. Now we are looking at dessert and coffee. And Prince Charles has already had his egg, unless he wants another egg on his dessert, in which case we'll give him an extra egg spoon. So, now when we talk about dessert, let's take a look at what's next. Okay, we've still got our charger plate. Now we're looking at dessert. We have several ways to go. I have little bowls here. If we have like a soft, runny dessert, and remember, we have a little spoon up here. These are our dessert pieces. So, we would have our little spoon. We would bring it onto our charger plate and eat it here, or our slice of cake with our fork. By the way, even if you are serving a runny dessert to be eaten with a spoon or a solid dessert to be eaten with a fork, make sure you keep a spoon there too anyway. You just never know how people are comfortable. And of course, we have our coffee cup. Our coffee cup is going to replace our bread and butter plate. And here is our coffee cup. Now, our water is still going to be there. Our wine glasses may or may not be removed at this point. And we're going to get into wine glasses at a later date. I think we have all we can handle with this. So the wine glasses may or may not be there, depends on your company. And here is our coffee spoon. Now, also, we can do espresso, which is why we have, or demitasse, which is why we have our little demitasse cup. And basically, we have just served a serious formal dinner. Okay. So that's where we're at. I don't think this was the best quality filming, not by a long shot. And as I say, it was just an unfortunate combination of circumstances, not expecting construction workers, but then again, not expecting a big storm coming. If this is something that you want to see in more depth and better quality film, let me know. Because at some point I am going to dig that china out again. It's not going to stay in those boxes forever. And we can redo it if you'd like. Also, as I hinted at, we are going to have to do something about glasses. What kind of glasses you put out, where they are. I think I mentioned the water glass will stay. The wine glasses often disappear. If you have a fish course, the white wine goes away. Your meat course, the red wine will stay. Some people like to have wine all the way through their dinner. Usually you'll do a dessert wine with the dessert and coffee instead of your large glasses of red and white. That's how I do it. And I have the cutesy little dessert glasses too. So we can talk about that at a later date if you'd like. Meantime, I hope this has been interesting. If there is one thing I would love for you to take away from this, it's that you do not need to be bound by the rules, period. Just because this is how, it's done, as they say, doesn't mean you can't do it the way you want to do it, whatever that means. In Prince Charles's case, he wants that gosh darn soft-boiled egg. Hey, who can argue with him? Prince of Wales, right? Don't let other people's rules, or rules that were developed 100 years ago, when anybody who was doing this kind of entertaining had a house full of servants, don't let that influence how you are comfortable entertaining. All right. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great day.